Loki would have just stolen an important item from Asgard. As everyone was after him, he would then make a portal. As he jumped through it, he managed to transport him to some planet, some far off in the universe, to get himself away from Asgard. However, for whatever reason, his magic messed up as he landed in the Hazbin universe. As he looked around, the entire sky was red, and he seemed intrigued by this, as then he would see people around him and use his magic to disguise himself as one of them, as he would go around and talk to people and learn things about this world. As he would learn how Lucifer was, well, depressed and didn't want to take charge, as he had a plan. If he couldn't rule Asgard, he would rule this place and turn it into a strong warrior-like culture and make sure that nothing could stand his way. However, there was a problem with that. Hell didn't want to be a warrior-like culture. Hell just let the sinners do whatever they wanted, and each ring acted like almost a different country with a loose-based alliance. Loki didn't want this. He wanted to consolidate power. Since Lucifer wasn't getting involved very much, the closest thing they had to a leader was Satan, so he must put an end to this. However, before doing all that, he will get rid of the exorcists. After all, it's hard to start an empire when your citizens start to get wiped out once a year, so he decided he wouldn't let that slide. So he must stop the exorcism. Before he does any of this, he needs to get in a position of power and get close to Lucifer. He didn't know how powerful Lucifer was, so he wanted to examine his power for himself. But to do that, he'd have to get close to him, so how would he do that? Loki would then start to look around, look for any way to get close to Lucifer. But then he found it. Charlie's, the daughter of Lucifer, started a hotel. If he goes into that hotel, he can learn more about him, and he can strike him down when he meets him. As then, Loki would go into the hotel in a disguise. As Vaggie and Charlie would let him in, Vaggie would be worried. Why does this stranger want to join the hotel? And why does she send someone off about him? As Charlie would ask questions, Loki would make up a completely fake backstory. It was about some gangster that tried to live life high, tried to overthrow the hierarchy, tried to become leader of a gang and take over the town. But his ambitions were too high, and the cops found him, and he was taken down. Similarly, as he tried to take over Asgard, he used gang life in a small town as a metaphor for Asgard. Odin was a corrupt warden, a corrupt leader of the cops that did nothing. As Thor was a good doer cop that fought alongside other cops to try to find him. As he made this story up to mimic his real life. Of course, no one could know that, as it was nothing special, but it was believable. As he sat down at the bar, Angel said, "So, finally another man. How are you doing here?" As Loki would look at him and say, "What are you doing?" Angel would say, "Flirting, do you know who I am?" As Loki would then realize that Angel was famous, he has to know who he is. As Loki would say, "Oh, sorry, I'm just not used to anyone liking me." But it doesn't matter. As he would stand up and say, I'm gonna go to effing bed. As he would try to act like a gangster. Usually he was great at playing roles, but he didn't expect someone to flirt with him. And it hasn't happened in so long, it kind of caught him off guard, as then he would go back to bed. As Angel would say, "Did he just pass me up?" Husk would say, "No, he's nervous. I think he likes you." Angel would say, "I think you're right, Husk." Husk lied, he just said that so Angel wouldn't go off on one of his moods. As days would pass, Loki would get used to his persona, and he would keep his persona and personality kept under the rug. As the real Loki would be thriving, the real Loki would be planning more schemes, as he would learn more about Charlie, more about her dreams, and more about this radio demon and his powers. He would also learn how to use other spells, as he studied Alistair using magic without him even realizing it, as he would also study other overlords by watching the news and other things, and combine that with his magic, as Loki was only becoming stronger and stronger as he studied for months and pretended to act somewhat nice. But he was also somewhat resilient and resistant. After all, he can't let his guard down too long, and he can't let things get too suspicious, especially if he did too well. One day, however, Charlie and Vaggie would walk back sad, as they would say they failed to stop the exorcism, and it's gonna happen way sooner. As Loki actually smirked, he wanted to fight an angel. Bring one to its knees, but he knew that would have to wait, as it was time to bide his time and simply keep on waiting. As one day, Lucifer himself would show up to the hotel. as Loki would stand back and start to scan him with his magic, as he used strong and powerful spells so Lucifer couldn't detect it. And Lucifer was extremely powerful, but he felt like he could win. All he had to do was trick him, of course. As then Lucifer went home. One day, though, he would hear Charlie crying out for help as he got out of his room and ran. But there was no Charlie, as suddenly the room would turn dark, as Lilith would appear and say, "I left you because you're nothing, because you're worthless." As then Lucifer would say, "What is this? What is this trick?" As the room would start to shake. As then Lucifer would close his eyes, and all the darkness would disappear, and Loki was in front of him. "Ah, it seemed like you broke my spell. You're stronger than I..." Would just laugh. "I thought you were weak like the rest of them, but it took real magic skill to break that spell. However, even though I still don't think you'll be a worthy opponent for me, you're still strong, unlike the rest, so I'll give you credit for that." As Lucifer would say, "Who are you?" "I'm the god of mischief, Loki." "You are nothing but a devil, but I am a god." Lucifer would say, "What's a god?" to a non-believer, as he would fly towards him and try to punch him. But that wasn't the real Loki. The real Loki was behind him, as then he stabbed him, as Lucifer would fall down. As Loki would say, I like the reference there, but that stuff's not going to work on me," as they would start to battle. But Loki would be extremely tricky. Lucifer wasn't used to this. He was used to a straight-up battle. Angels were quite cocky and didn't use tricks like this, so Loki was able to win. Also, Loki is a god, so that helps too, I guess. As Loki defeated Lucifer, he would then use magic to disguise himself as him, as he had one more job to do, as he would call a meeting between all the rings of hell. He would then go back to the hotel, and he would keep his disguise. However, every once in a while he would pretend to be Lucifer, as eventually he would call a meeting for all the overlords and all the ring lords. Basically, all of the sins would meet up with Lucifer, as Satan would say, "It's been a long time, Lord." "Lord? You've been acting like you're the boss, calling all the shots ever since I've left. Because I was depressed. Well, guess what? I'm not going to have that anymore. And you're going to be punished." Satan would say, "What?" As he would snap his fingers, suddenly Satan would turn back into his normal form. As when Loki destroyed Lucifer, he also got his powers. As he smirked and said, "You just turned big to intimidate people. I don't like that. I think I'm going to intimidate you." As suddenly he would torture him in front of everyone. This shocked everyone, because Lucifer wasn't like this. As he said, "I'm the boss now, and you're not going to be able to do whatever you want. We're going to have more centralized leadership. And if you don't like it, you can talk to me about it. Once after you scream, of course," as he would laugh. As this would put fear into their hearts, as Loki would start to pass reforms. Instead of going to a monarchy like nobles and royals, Loki would slowly try to turn himself into a royal dictatorship, with him with all the power. As Loki would control hell from the background, passing reforms and changing everything. However, he still knew the angels were coming, and he wanted sinners to be citizens like the rest, so he was going to have to defend it. After all, sinners are like his property, and these angels can't go around destroying his property. Eventually, Adam and his forces would arrive, however, as the entire city was lit on fire, as the exorcists attacked the hotel. As they began to charge in, suddenly Adam would fight Alistair, as then he would see Sarah. As Sarah would say, "You know, Adam, you could have just redeemed. You could have just went with Charlie, but now it's too late. You'll fail." As then, he would hear laughter. "You've always been a failure. Your first girl left you, and the second one tricked you into eating an apple. You're an idiot. You don't know what it's like to trust someone, because you can't trust someone. You're too dumb, Adam. Anytime you make a decision on your own, it leads to nothing but hardship. And anytime you listen to someone else, they trick you. You're nothing but a puppet. You've always have and always will be." As Adam would say, "Shut up, shut up, shut up." As Loki would switch to different voices, messing with Adam, getting inside of his head. As he would scream, shooting electricity everywhere. As suddenly Loki would appear behind him and punch him, causing him to fall off the building. As Adam would hit the floor, he was so distracted he didn't even fly. As Lucifer would yell inside of his head, as you control his head, suddenly Adam would get up and get paranoid as he left with the rest of the exorcists. Loki kept him alive, so then he would lose and look like a lunatic. As Adam would fly away, Loki would then look down at the city as he smirked. He did it. He defeated Adam. Didn't even hurt him. How funny. He wanted Adam to be alive so he could be humiliated, so he can be a failure. That is a punishment worse than your demise. As then, Loki smiled as he did it. He finally won, and he controls something. It's not Asgard, but it will do. It will definitely do. And that's going to leave things on. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with all your friends. Really enjoyed making this video. I can't believe I haven't done Loki until now. I literally had to, I checked 3 times. Because I was like, I had to have done Loki. I had to have. But apparently I didn't. Apparently I have not done Loki. So yeah. I think you all will like this. Definitely a good video to work with. Definitely a fun one. And yeah, a lot of my videos I've been kind of like stretching it out and I'm like and stuff like that, but this video, the last video too, it was like that, you know. It was just like I can't snap. I'm a grown man, I can't snap. Oh my god. But yeah, it's just like instant, you know. I just instantly clicked everything. Great, you know. I love when a video clicks together like that. And like, yeah, I really like these crossover ideas, and I feel like I could have had Loki be redeemed, or I could have like had him be an anti-hero, which he's become more of an anti-hero, but I just wanted full villain, full evil Loki, because, well, why not, you know? I redeemed a lot of characters, and this is a character that could have been redeemed, but I was like, nah, let's just go full evil, because why not, you know? Loki's definitely a fun character. He's fun when he's, you know, evil and stuff, but yeah. Which Loki do you prefer? Do you prefer the pure evil Loki? The good Loki? Or the anti-hero Loki? I am yawning like crazy. Of course, it is late right now, but yeah. Honestly, I should probably end this video here so I can get some sleep. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. And I hope you all have an amazing day. Peace out.